everybody. This is HeadBangers Lifestyle. I'm Lilo. Thanks for tuning in. And I have here with me the really lovely Doro, our real metal queen. And no introduction, I think, because we all know who you are. So welcome.
Hey, hi Lilo. Thank you to have me on your show. And hello, everybody. And yeah.
How are you? How are you doing?
Oh, very good, very good. We just started to play some normal festivals again, and my first festival was actually in Belgium, the Alcatraz festival, like 3 weeks ago, and it was so awesome. And now I just came back from England, and we were headliner on the Rocking the Bowl festival. We played on Saturday, and it was so great in Sheffield. And yeah, I just came back yesterday, and wow, life is good again. It feels like everything is opening up a little bit more, so that's exciting. And yeah, we did so much different shows, which that was great. It was great practice. We could keep the band going, so everything was good. But then doing a normal festival, oh man, there's nothing like it. Of course, that's the best. And we were all flying, and the fans were on fire. So that was awesome, and we're doing really good. Yes,
awesome. And what kind of a traveler are you actually? Because you travel the world for so many years. Are you always good prepared and you have your bags and easy going, or is it like chaotic? You have zillion bags and oh my God, where's my passport? That kind of situation.
Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's just like you said it. I think it's totally chaotic. And I have a couple of things which I always, have in my bag. So my bags, they're already they're not even unpacked. So the most important things I always have with me, like my stage clothes and stuff and some makeup. But now when I came back from England, they took all my makeup away because they were really serious. You can just have like this little bag and with the liquids, and then they took all the most important thing away, and I said no, and I thought, but what can you do? The rules and the travel restrictions and everything is so serious. So I have to buy that stuff, and I usually buy stuff all over the world. I can always get the best things, like from America or from England or from France or from Belgium, or from Germany. So I have my favorite things, but sometimes you gotta do without. So but I'm pretty chaotic. Oh yes, and I'm not a tidy person, so stuff is flying all over. And in the tour bus, it's immediately one night, and it looks like we are spending 6 months in the tour bus. So the guys there, like, they are much doing that much better, like especially our guitar player Bas Maas. He's from the Netherlands, man. He's so tidy and stuff and very well organized. Our drummer Johnny D as well, he's with me since 1993, and and he's cool. But I'm pretty but it always works. It always seems to work. It seems to still have I think I still have a plan, even it doesn't look it.
Yeah. So what kind of a bandmate are you to your other band members, actually? And has it changed over the years?
Oh, no, I think I was always the best friend. And, and I was an only child, so I always wanted to have brothers and sisters. And now I could have all brothers. So I guess I'm the big little sister for the guys, and the guys, they are my family. And between friends and and rocking out together, there's a deep bond. Sometimes we understand each other without even talking about it. We know what's going on, what we have to do, especially on stage. And I think I'm a pretty okay person. I try to be always very super respectful, because everybody has their own unique thing. It's I always try to not ever step on anybody's toes, to leave them their space, to have lots of respect and and lots of love. Look, I guess that's what I'm all about. It's love, even though it's die-hard metal, but there's a lot of love. And and I always try to be very, very understanding, even when somebody messes up. I never I never scream or shout. It's always like, you know, I try to be cool, and you know, and that's how it works. Like, we are together for such a long time. Yeah,
Right.
Johnny D, our drummer, 1993 he joined, and Bas and Luca, they are with me forever. And Nick, he's in the band 31 years. Nick Douglas, he's from Philadelphia, and yeah, and then we have a new guy. Actually, he was in our band many years ago, and he now plays bass because Nick couldn't get over. The last festival we did together was actually Alcatraz in Belgium, but he doesn't want to get vaccinated, so he can't play with us anymore. It's like, oh, it's so difficult. And we have an England tour going on, and with Michael Schenker in October, and you need vaccination to even get a work permit. You can't go into the country, you know, without. And yeah, so, and in Belgium we were playing, and then one day later there was like a big deal, like that you have to go to 10 days in quarantine because you know, when you're not vaccinated. So that was probably the last show we did for a while. And yeah, but yeah, that's like Corona times. They were like really weird, and everybody has their own, you know, spin on it. But when you're on tour, you know, you need to have like, everybody on the same page. And so,
Exactly.
Yeah. And so Harrison Young is his name. He lives now in the Netherlands. He's from New York, but he fell in love, and he's now playing bass and keyboards, and and he's about to get his second child now next week, I think, in 1-2 weeks. So we probably have, you know, another bass player for a few shows. So we are flexible. I like to have it all steady, but now in this day and age, you have to be flexible, you know, to keep it going. And,
Of course. And you are still already going strong for 41 years. Career so long already. And
you started 1980. You're right. We always celebrated from our first record on. The first record was called Burning the Witches, came out in 83. So we're always celebrating the stage anniversary, but I'm doing it since 1980.
So long.
You're right.
But you had your birthday. You are now 58, if I'm correct. So
57. Let me think. I always think I'm 24. My God. But at 57. Yeah, 57.
So but you're still fierce. You're energetic and positive, and you seem unstoppable. It's amazing. So how do you keep yourself so fit and flexible, and also physically and mentally healthy?
It's easy. It's, you know, I really live for the fans. I live for the audience. And, you know, and when I was 24, I was in New York City. I was living there for 25 years. And one day I woke up and I thought, today I make a decision. I will dedicate my life to metal and to the fans and to the music and nothing else. And that's what I did when I was 24. And I'm still happy that I did it. And when I see the fans, oh man, I can sing 10 times better, 10 times louder, you know, like perform and jump around, and I don't feel any pain when I'm on stage. I can just go full out. Before and afterwards, it's a different story. You know, you have to lick your wounds. But when I see the fans, then I'm on fire, you know, and when I see they are on fire, oh man, that's like, you know, then everything is like, it's great. And I feel like, you know, couldn't be better. That's like these moments I live for, and the fans, they always give me inspiration, motivation to go on for another 100 years, you know, whatever is like, I don't know, you know, whatever my destiny is, but I would love to do it as long as I live, like Lemmy, you know. The very last breath, you go on stage and you rock out, you know. So it's easy, and actually you try to learn to not like cope with like a lot of sleep, you know. So when you're on tour, you're just going, you know, no sleep, not good food, just, you know, do it. And then afterwards, you know, I'm almost in a coma. When the tour is over, then I fall into a deep hole, and everybody thinks, oh God, hopefully she's not dying. And I have so many doctors, they always like, they put me back together, and, you know, they even they open up for me on Sunday or Saturday, and they know it's like urgent, but
and then
I still feel like I'm just doing my first band. I still feel like I'm 16.
Yeah. But are there days that you really want to, put the blanket over your head and like, not today, I have a bad day, leave me alone? Or
actually, not really. I need a lot of sleep. I think, man, I'm one of these people who need like a lot of sleep. So I like to get like much more sleep than the guys in the band. They are like up and running, and oh man, I always need to rest the voice, in the tour bus. I always that's the only thing. But I never have a bad day. I don't, even when I'm sick, which I'm always sick on tour, always, every tour, because usually we tour in the winter time, so I was always sick as a dog. But I still, I try to be positive, and I'm never in a bad mood. I don't even know that feeling. And sometimes when it gets hard, then I think, oh man, then you have to fight harder, and it's always going up and down, up and down. It's the nature of the beast. It never goes always up, which I thought, in the 80s, I thought, it's always going up and up and up. But oh man, no, I was surprised it didn't. So the 90s were really tough, when the 80s was so great, when metal became so huge. And then the 90s suddenly, when grunge took over, oh God, it was very difficult to survive, to keep it going, but we did. And I thought, okay, then fuck it, I don't play the big arenas, I play the small clubs. I have just as much fun, like, seeing everybody sweat, and like, right in my face. And so I always try to keep up good positive energy and attitude, and
seems to work perfectly. I mean, you're here, doing great. But
I try.
Yeah. So, but I mean, getting older, it gives some inconvenience when you're getting older, and there are a lot of things that is quite a taboo talking about it, especially in the music scene. You never hear anyone talking about those things. But how do you deal with that? I mean, you just ignore things and just go, or you find it hard, or?
Yeah, no, I think I really don't think about it. I just go. I always go full force. I always give it 110% every day, and really, like the song I wrote for Lemmy, it was on the last album, on the Forever Warriors, Forever United album. It was the first song on there, and it was called Living Life to the Fullest, and it's dedicated to Lemmy, of course. And I try to live by that too, living every day to the fullest. And, and so many bad stuff can happen, and people get sick, or people die, or the whole world, it's like, I think it's much more, it's in bad shape right now. In the 80s, there weren't any big problems, like, except like that you couldn't pay rent for your rehearsal room. That was a big problem for us, but other than that, there weren't any problems. And now I think, man, I need to stay even more positive, because, everything is so serious. It's really dark times, hard times. I wrote a song one time in 89 that was on the Force Majeure record. It was called Hard Times. We thought, oh, it's so hard, it's so difficult, and oh man, nothing compares to what's going on now, I think. So you have to try to stay extra positive, and they give more or much more, or work 10 times harder to keep it going. And but getting older, I tell you, I didn't mean a thing. And actually now I feel even better than when I started, because I didn't know how to handle things. I was always like, I love to smoke cigarettes. I was chain smoking, sometimes a cigarette in both hands.
Oh wow.
And then I didn't eat well, and but now I try to take care of myself a little bit better. I gave up smoking. I'm vegan, so I gave up eating all that crap. So I think it's better. It's working. You survive any tour much better when you do,
of course,
take care of yourself. But other than that, I didn't feel anything different, like from 20 to now. And even the skin still feels good, in good shape. I didn't do anything. I didn't cut anything off, and it still works. And doing a little sport, I think that's good. I like doing that. I'm a big sucker for martial arts, and I did many things. I started with Thai boxing in '95, and then I did like Kung Fu, like Wing Chun, and then Eskrima. Eskrima is with sticks. You can do it with bamboo sticks or with knives. And so I like doing that. But I didn't do it the last 1.5 years because of the Corona times. So I thought, oh God, I have to do something by myself if I can't do it in a whole group, because it was much too dangerous. So I'm always going into the woods and then work out, and like instead of lifting like weights, I lift like, trees or something, whatever I can find, in nature. And it's fun, and I like to be around nature. So that always gives me a good feeling that I'm part of, that I'm part of nature. I'm part of the trees, the animals, the people. So, that we are all one, and we have to take care of each other, and, and be good to any living soul. I think that's, I agree with that.
Yeah. And how do you contribute to keep our planet healthy, actually, also because you're a touring artist, so flying and buses, but at home, how do you do that? And on tour, do you try to as well?
Yeah, actually, flying and buses, that's like, we have to go by tour bus, or we have to fly, like when we do whatever, South America or Russia. You couldn't do it by, you couldn't swim there. So we're still flying and doing it by tour bus. But I always try to, to find out, is it is it good for the environment? Is somebody, taking care, or extra taking care? And for example, some festivals, I was really, happy to hear that I know it for sure, like that the Wacken Festival in Germany, they always try to take care of the environment, and they have all kinds of plans. And I thought, oh man, that's so cool. So so I'm at least trying to do my part. And when I'm always on tour or in the studio, but then I'm vegan. I try not to participate in any cruelty. I don't eat anything where an animal had to suffer or die. The whole clothes, it's all vegan. It's like, it looks like real leather, but it's not. It's all vegan.
It's fantastic.
It works. And then the cosmetic, I always try to find vegan stuff and, cruelty-free cosmetics. And I'm connected with many, many organizations who are helping animals, or, try to make, sure that animals get out of bad situations. And I adopted 2 horses. It's that's actually so cool. Wow. It's in Austria, and it's a Gut Eiderbichel. And, it's a big place where all the animals, they live together, and they respect friendships. If like a donkey is, like friends with like a dog, they put them together, and they let them live together. And and I adopted 2 horses, and they got treated so bad. And, and then I donate money for food and medicine, and that they can stay there. So, and all over the world, I'm connected with people who are like, taking care of animals, or like dogs, like street dogs in, Romania, or like even here in Germany, it's the same stuff. Like sometimes, people buy animals to, to give away, for Christmas, or, and then they don't take care of them anymore. So we are all connected. And I met a great girl in Belgium. She's taking care of older dogs and, older animals, because that's usually problematic when they can't, play around anymore like they used to. So I'm big time into that. And and that's really, that's what I love to do.
That's close to your heart, right?
Absolutely. And I grew up with dogs and horses. So, oh man, dogs and horses, I mean, I don't want to say my favorite. I love all animals. I love cows and pigs and everything, and parrots and cats. And, I had 2 times, not at the same time, but I had 2 parrots. And I tell you, I love them so much. And they are not anymore alive. And when the second one died, I tell you, I thought I couldn't handle it. It was like they were so close to me. And so I know how it is to lose a loved one, if it's a person or an animal. Oh, it breaks your heart.
Yeah, absolutely. So wow, so you're really into the vegan, into taking care of earth and animals. So that's a good contribution, I would say. So but who would you like to sit down with when you have a day off, have a nice cup of coffee with, or a cup of tea, and just do a nice talking, like personal stuff or easygoing? Who would that be?
Yeah, actually, there are 3 people in my life which are not anymore here with us. They are, hopefully in a better place. They are not alive anymore. The first one would be my dad. I had a great friendship and, like great thing. We were such a good team. My dad was like, he was so cool. He was a truck driver. I grew up in a truck. And, he always treated me like a grown up. He never treated me like a kid. I thought it was so cool. And he loved music. So I think I have that. My passion for music comes from my dad. He was really cool. Loved him so much. And since he's gone, it's tough. It's tough to go on. I miss him every day. And then the second person I miss so much is Ronnie James Dio. We had great experiences together. My first tour was actually in '87 with Ronnie James Dio. We just had the Triumph and Agony out, and it was such a great tour. It was unbelievable. And this album, we just did a live album of the Triumph and Agony. It's Triumph and Agony Live. They will be out September 24th, and it's live CD and Blu-ray. And you can get it in different box sets, like vinyl and cassette even, and a Warlock figurine, the Warlock holding me, and all that stuff. And that reminds me on Ronnie James Dio so much too, because that tour was unbelievable in '87. And then we did a second tour in 2000. And that was such a special tour to me, because it was when we both felt grunge, like not as big anymore. And there was a big America tour planned, and everybody said, "Hey, Doro, you're crazy, nobody will show up, and and grunge is still going on." And I said, "No, I think it's a little bit on the way out, and I definitely want to do this tour." And I had to, of course, pay for the tour, tour bus band, flying over and, and road crew and stuff. And I gave one of my life insurances. And then people said, "You are crazy, your life insurance." And I said, "I want to do it." And I tell you, it was the best tour, because it was so packed. It was unbelievable. And there we actually became really big time friends, because in '87, we couldn't speak English that well. And, it was just limited, our conversations like, "Hey, have a great show, and all that stuff." But in 2000, we always had dinner together. Ronnie loved Indian food. We always went out to have Indian food. Mm-hmm. So that was great. And we became great friends. So I would love to sit down with Ronnie again and talk to him. I just got this book, the Dio book. It's sitting over there. I want to show it to you, but it's sitting in that corner. And and Lemmy would be the third person. I would love to sit down, have a coffee, have a cigarette again. I think I would start smoking if I would meet Lemmy again, because we were always smoking, and and I was always driving him around when we did our studio sessions in LA, there was actually the first duet partner in my life. It was Lemmy, and it was on our album Calling the Wild, and we did 2 songs. It was Alone Again, a song Lemmy wrote on his acoustic guitar. I couldn't believe it. He was such a soulful person. Like, I mean, I love the heavy stuff like Ace of Spades and stuff, of course, but the soulful stuff, man, I think that was so good. And Lemmy was a great person to talk to. And yeah, and then we did Alone Again and a Motorhead classic, Love Me Forever. And we recorded it in LA. And then after a long studio session, like 4 o'clock in the morning, you know, I said, okay, shall I drive you home? And he said, no, I don't want to go home. He said, just let's drive. And I said, where shall we drive to? He said, just drive. And so we were driving, you know, all night, and we had, like, you know, some whiskey, and, you know, and I didn't drink because I wanted to make sure Lemmy is safe. And, you know, but I had cigarettes, and we were talking and singing. You know, he always played me some stuff he loved, like, you know, CDs I didn't know or bands I didn't know. Yeah. And, you know, and he was singing along, and it was so fantastic. So, and we had great talks. So yeah. So to answer your question, my dad, Ronnie James Dio, and Lemmy, these are my favorite people to talk to. And I actually lost my best friends. I don't have anybody which I thought would be so cool, so understanding, so soulful, and so, you know, and so unique, like, man. So
yeah. So you mentioned Triumph and Agony live, which will be released later this month. Really exciting. 2 things. The original album. Why do you think that one is so magical? What is the magic specifically of that album? And then again, now is the live release, and what is for you the magic about that version?
Yes, yeah, actually, when we started to write songs for the Triumph and Agony album, it was my first time in New York. It was my first time in America. I actually had like 3 days to do a little promotion tour for our 3rd album. The 3rd album was True as Steel. We did 3 records. Burning the Witches was the first one with the Belgium label Mausoleum, then Hellbound, then True as Steel. And on the True as Steel album, it was the 3rd album, I already felt a little pressure because the record company felt, okay, this record, you know, could be like big. And the making of the 3rd album, True as Steel, was very hard because, you know, we were a metal band, and then suddenly the record company said, yeah, it has to be more radio friendly. We thought, radio friendly? No, that was not in our book. So some of the songs, they got remixed, and they were a little bit too, I thought too pop, you know, like, and it was a very heavy record, but like very heavy record to make, but we were so lucky we could play the legendary Monsters of Rock festivals in '86 in Castle Donington, England, and 2 in Germany. But Castle Donington, England, that was so important. Then people said, okay, let's give this, you know, a little band a chance. And then we could hop on tour with Judas Priest, and Judas Priest was my favorite band. It was awesome, it was unbelievable. And in England, we toured with Wasp. And I loved Wasp. I'm still a big Wasp fan. And and then I was in America doing a little promotion tour, and everybody said, hey, why is it so polished? And I thought, I don't know what to say. You know, the record company wanted to have it more radio friendly. And the songs at first, the demos were really heavy, really rough. And then I thought, I want to stay. And I stayed in New York. And I met great people, and we had a new manager. His name was Alex Grobe, and he was an American citizen, but he came from Switzerland, so he could speak German perfectly. And he was a psychologist, so that was perfect for me, for the band, for the road crew. And he said, okay, Doro, I introduce you to somebody. He can show you the club scene, the metal scene in New York, you know, the record stores. And his name was Joey Batten. And I met Joey, and he was a little bit older than me, but he was a great guy. He showed me all kinds of stuff and places and record stores. They were open 24 hours in New York, and I'm a big record collector, and I loved it. Oh, it was great. And the clubs were great. And then when I saw all that stuff, and then Joey said, you want to go to another club? And I said, Joey, I tell you, to be honest, the metal scene in Europe is really great as well. We have very similar clubs, and all the metalheads with their metal vest. And he said, so what do you want to do? And I said, shall we jam a little bit? So we went to his apartment and we were jamming a little bit. And I told him a couple of stories, some stories what we did on tour and my first promotion tour into a former East country that was actually in Hungary. Uh-huh. And I was so serious on our first record on Burning the Witches. And I don't know if you guys know it, but this album cover had it was the Warlock, and he was lighting a candle, and on the candle there was a little naked woman. It was a fantasy artwork. It was a painting. And when we went to the border in Hungary, all these officers, they got really serious, and I thought we would be put into jail, and they took all the records away. And we thought, and it was a different vibe, Now it's much easier to go to play, in Hungary or Russia or former East Germany. That was totally forbidden in the 80s, in the early 80s. So I told Joey about it. And he, growing up in America, where you can go wherever you want to, you can say, you can do whatever you want to. He was very interested in that. And I said, yeah, man, in Europe, it can be different. And former East, it's heavy. It's really heavy. And then we wrote our first song, East Meets West. When East meets West, there's going to be a hell of a mess. So that was our first song, and we wrote the lyrics, and, it was cool. And next day I went to my manager, Alex, and he said, so how was, the clubs and the record stores? And I said, that's great. They were all great, but we wrote, I think, a great song. And he said, really, let me hear it. We recorded it on a little Walkman. And, I played it for him. He said, wow, I love it. He said, man, you guys should go on, do more stuff. It seems that you would have good chemistry. And I said, yeah, I think we do. So the second song we wrote was 3 Minute Warning. It was a fast song. It was actually about the manager, like a stranger in a strange land. And then Joey showed me all kinds of stuff. And I was very curious as a teenager. I loved especially forbidden stuff. And then he asked me if I ever played the Ouija board. And I said, I think that's totally forbidden in Germany. And he said, you want to play it? And I said, yeah, of course. So we played the Ouija board many, many times. In the end result was we had to move out of that apartment. We became roommates, but everything was filled with weird energy. I tell you, it got really, really bad. But before that, we played it one night, and I said, Joey, can you ask this whatever spirit or whatever it is, if it has a message for me? He said, yeah, sure, I can ask. And then the message was, Doro, make time for love. And then we wrote our first ballad for the Triumph And Agony album. So we had 3 songs. And then Alex, the manager, he said, hey, you guys have to record it for real, in a real good studio. So we went into the Power Station studio. And Power Station studio in Manhattan was the best studio, I think, in the whole world back then. And, and we did our demos there. It was probably sinfully expensive, but we did great demos. And I told Joey, I want to have a real metal guitar player, because Joey, he was a fantastic musician, piano player, guitar player. But there was always this discussion between rock and metal, and what's the difference? And I said, well, I want a metal guitar player. And he said, he said, okay, I understand. He called a friend of his, there was Tommy Bowen. He came into the studio, and Tommy is full of energy. He still is. He played on the Triumph and Agony live too, and you can see him on the Blu-ray. And Tommy came into the studio. Immediately, he was on the floor, on his back, bleeding, sweating, playing, and he was such an animal, and it was so awesome. So we did these 3 songs, and then the record company came over, and they said, wow, we love it, you stay, and that guy will be the producer. And I said, really? I don't know if you produced so many records before, but it didn't matter. And I said, just go for it. So I had total freedom. And I was very much supported. We had a great engineer. He became later on the engineer for Jim Steinman and Meatloaf. His name was Steve Rinkoff. He was a very young guy, but very talented. And then I could stay in America. We could do the record. And yeah, Steve Rinkoff, he was the engineer, he was great. And I felt so supported. That was the first time I felt totally free, no restrictions, nobody from the record company who said, yeah, you have to make a hit and it has to be more radio friendly and more polished. We just could go, and then the guys like Joey and the engineer and all the musicians there, they said, hey, Doro, go for it, sounds great. And I said, yeah, I want to really scream, on that song. It was Tattoo People. I want to do like these crazy screams, and everybody said, yeah, do it, it's awesome. I said, really? So I felt totally alive and free. And I think that was one of the magical ingredients that Triumph and Agony was so cool. Like every song was different, every song was special. We did some really risky things, like a new combination, for example, metal tango. There was tango with metal guitars. And then I did my very first German song, that's Für immer. It has actually 3 languages, English, German, and a Spanish sentence. And so it was the first time that I felt I could totally be myself and could just fly. And that felt so good. And you could feel like the good vibes on this whole album. And so I felt so good after making True Steel, which was really difficult to make. It was cool. It was it felt good.
Classic.
Felt good.
Yeah, and it became a classic because probably of the whole way it was made and the free spirit in it.
Yes. I think so. We had great players too, like great guests. But I think the Triumph and Agony was really special. But I think all the other records, it was leading towards the Triumph and Agony. You live and learn. First record, we didn't know anything. Second record was like a more professional production. Third record was pretty cool, but already some pressure. And Triumph and Agony wasn't just like great. And we had some drums played by Cozy Powell, the legendary Cozy Powell. He played on some songs, so there were some top-notch people involved. And then I think the album cover, Jeffrey Gillespie did this awesome album cover. He's an English guy. He lives in France. And then when he did the Triumph and Agony, I don't have the original with me, but I guess you know the original. That was oh my God, and I loved it so much. And I thought, when we do a Triumph and Agony live album, I definitely want to do the combination between, the cool painting and then some live. You know what I mean. I guess that is the cover now.
There is nice. Wow.
That's actually the box set. But in the box set there's the CD and
there you go.
A Blu-ray and there's even like cassettes in it and the Warlock figurine, like I think for collectors. I love that.
That's adorable.
Yes,
that's
adorable.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's really a collector's item.
It's a collector's item. I know it's not for everybody, but for some people who like to put it, on their shelf. It's like, that came out so sweet. And all the faces are hand painted. So I hope every face will be all right. At first I thought I want to do it myself, but we have like, I think 2,000 in a limited edition. So a woman did it, but but I said, hey, you need to put on more makeup. She said, really? I said, yeah, man, it's metal. I need more black.
Yes, exactly. Wow, amazing. And it's already sold out, I guess, or?
I think one of the box sets is sold out. I think the one with the cassette. And I don't know, the figurine, I think we try to make some more, but at this day and age, it's impossible. It takes months and months, and I wanted to have of course a picture disc, but they said you would have to wait 1 year because everything is clogged up, all the factories, and it's hard to get all the material. They're short on
I heard
things.
about
You hear about. So the vinyl record is marbled, and maybe picture this next year. But it's the biggest album cover in the world. Again, we had it one time. It was in the Guinness Book of World Records, and now we did it twice as big. So it's life size. Yeah. That's the original. So
here you go. Oh my gosh.
And here the record was when you would open up the stomach, and now it's in the back, like it's in the back of the Warlock, and you can get it out, and all kinds of cool stuff. And I found my own record label to do all these little gimmicks and nice things and collector stuff, because
It's
like
really cool. It's
only people who like the 80s, they probably understand that,
of course.
you
Yeah,
need to
because
accept stuff,
those carton box statues, we had it everywhere in your local record store when there was a new album, and then those and it became kind of a collector's thing to have back in the day.
Yes, that's right. And and I don't even know who thought about it, but
But long live the 80s, I would say.
Absolutely. And with the Triumph and Agony, I wanted to bring that spirit back. I think, because that record, 87, and I have so many great memories. So I thought we need to do all that stuff, and there are patches you can put on your battle vest. I always love the fans in the first row with the battle vest. Sometimes I miss it. Sometimes there are some diehard metalheads and then some normal people, but the diehard fans with the battle vest, they're always the loudest and most excited, So and it's like when you perform, that's always that's the best,
Yeah. And besides this release, is there more in the making? What do you have in store for the fans for
next year? Oh, there was now, I tell you, it was so much work to get it done. Like the whole production, the record, the CD and the Blu-ray, that took 6 months, and then to get everything together, and then would be here in time. And the dolls, the figurines, they were not made in China. We thought, no, we want to do them here in Germany, that we can make sure they're in time and they look good and stuff, because sometimes we ordered something from China and then it wasn't there in time, and people were disappointed that they didn't find it in the box sets, or that it didn't look like the way it should look. So all kinds of things. So we thought, we want to do it here in Germany, and so we found a way to get everything done, and so that took a long time, and now I'm in the middle of doing a new album. And, but we have a tour coming up in October in England with Michael Schenker. And then in November, we tour all over Europe. I hope everything will happen because numbers are going up. So there are already some travel restrictions. And even when we came back from England, there was already people said, oh, you have to go into quarantine for 10 days even when you're vaccinated, so all kinds of stuff. We thought, we play in a couple of days in Austria, and so November is a whole European tour coming up in Belgium on the 11th, in Trix, Antwerp, and then Paris and Switzerland, Netherlands, Germany, and stuff. We're hoping that everything will go as planned, because now we know how fragile it is. And then, and if the tour wouldn't happen, then I would go right back into the studio, work on the new album. And the new album will probably come out next year. And we have 6 songs already. And I think good songs, anthems, fast songs, and some really soulful songs as well. I like the whole spectrum. So,
of course. Nice. Oh, it's definitely something to look forward to. Touring, new album. So there's no time for retirement yet.
No, not yet. No, and celebrating the Triumph and Agony. It's the 35th anniversary coming up. I can't believe it. Feels really like just a few years ago. And
yes, amazing. So, but did you spot your successor maybe when you're retired? You're not into music anymore. Have you spotted a real talent that could be in your position? A new metal queen.
Actually, to be honest, I'm never thinking about getting retired or I want to do it till the very last day. Dying on stage, that would be great. I mean, when I'm really old, no. But there are great bands out there, and great singers, great female musicians, so many. I love it from super heavy to super melodic. I love Elisa of Arch Enemy. I love the singer before Elisa, Angela Gosso. I like Flor Jansen, of course. I like Christina Scabia. I like Simone Simmons of Epica. I like the girl of Hailstorm. So many great ones. We just played in Belgium with Ginger. I think, Tati is a very charismatic, singer and a great lady. So there are so many great women. And I still like all the ladies of the 80s, like, still like Rock Goddess. That was my favorite band.
Yes.
It was an all-girl band from England. I was glad you remember.
I have
Jodie Turner was a great singer. And of course, Lee Aaron. And I'm still friends with Lita Ford. We actually recently did something together. So for her next album. And And my first band I've ever met was Girls' School. We're still like, great friends, like from England. And so I would say everybody, everybody is doing their best, and everybody, should like, is powerful in, keeping the flag, high for metal and doing their thing. And I think it doesn't matter what kind of style it is. It is all great. Whatever you feel, I think everybody, can express themselves. And like, I was a big fan of Wendy O. Williams. Do you remember her?
Yes.
Oh, man,
Yes.
she was heavy, wild, wild, performances. So, I think there were great ladies out there. And now even newcomers, like, wow, awesome. And I like the girls of Thunder Mother. I love them a lot. And and Nervosa, I like.
Yeah. There are so many girls right now who.
Yeah.
And it's good to have the females in business.
Yes,
but it's
absolutely.
ladies as well, of course, but they're still going strong.
Yes. And now it's much better balance. In the 80s, there were just a handful, and now, so many more,
Yeah. So it's good.
Super. Yeah, super. Yeah, it's
excellent. Good. All right. Well, I think we have talked about a lot of stuff. Is there anything we forgot to mention here?
Actually, I think we could go on hours and hours, but I think we covered, all the good stuff. And I wish everybody the best. And of course, stay healthy and stay metal. Keep on rocking and try to stay positive. I know times are really tough, but we have to make the best out of it. We're all in it together. That's great, and I think it can only get better. And we're going up. Let's stay positive for sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, everybody, thank you for watching Headbangers Lifestyle. Thank you very much to be my guest here. And everybody stay metal and don't forget to like and subscribe, and we see you the next time. Yes. Ciao, guys and girls. Love you. Mwah.